Good morning, everybody. My name is Brayden Cutler. I'm an innovation fellow from Utah Valley University. I'm also a senior in integrated studies. For those of you who don't know what that is, I can explain later. Basically, I'm doing a combination of business, communications, and computer science. And I will graduate this summer. The light's at the end of the tunnel. To start off my talk today, obviously gathering all mutants, I'm going to do something that isn't really, you might not see the connection to the title just yet, but I want to read something. As I introduce myself, talk a little about myself. So my name is Brayden Cutler, and I'm going to talk about, one, talents and abilities, but also I think being able to see and recognize the good in others. Up here, I've just got a couple things about me. I make lots of mistakes, and I somehow always live to tell people about it. I'm a people connector, and I hate sitting around. My goal is to innovate higher education. That's a belief I have, is that, one, I guess you say I have three beliefs. The first is that everybody is an innovator at heart. Everybody has a spark of innovation inside of them. And I think for me, what I found throughout this process of the Innovation Fellows, what it's helped me to cultivate is this inner desire and belief to help everyone to recognize that spark of innovation inside themselves. I'm also an avid poetry reader. I love to read poetry. And I know all of you have gonna heard what I'm about to read you. It's probably the most quoted, I might be singly the most read piece of poetry in American history. But I'm gonna read it anyways, just to start off the talk today. It's by Robert Frost. It goes like this. It says, "There's two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both the morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden back black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how ways lead on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." That poem, I love it, and to quote Robin Williams from the movie Dead Poet Society, says, we don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we're part of the human race. And I submit the same thing to you, is that just like poetry brings out something and elicits something amazing, something deep inside of us that connects with these words, innovation is the same thing. And it's one of the things I love about the Innovation Fellows program, is it speaks to something inside each of us. And I feel like something that the world is reaching out for, and it's change, it's innovation, it's the ability to do more with what we've been given. And sometimes we need the people, like this poem says, is we see the two paths, but it needs the people who are willing to walk the path less traveled. And that's what you are doing here this week, and that you've done for the last few months, is you've walked that road less traveled. And so today, yes, I get to speak about my experiences as a fellow, but more importantly, what I'd ask you to focus on is, don't think about what I'm doing. Think about what you are going to do because of this talk. If nothing I've done, if you've done everything I've done, great. You've probably made maybe well ahead of where I'm at. But the most important thing from this talk today is we're here to inspire you and ignite, obviously, hence the name, ignite something inside of you to change and do something different. Here's my big takeaways. One, all great leaders have a why. What is yours? The second is be an incubator for connection. The third is do things others won't, and you will go places they can't. Professor Charles Xavier was obviously, any of you familiar with the X-Men series, the Marvel X-Men. Professor Charles Xavier was how do you say it, like the lead mutant. He was the Dumbledore of the mutant movement. And he was incredibly powerful. But it's interesting that as you look at Charles Xavier, with as powerful as he is, his main goal was to gather and unite all mutants. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to help mutants, wanted to gather and learn how to hone their skills and their powers. And as he goes about doing this, he finds these incredibly talented individuals and brings them to a school where they can teach them and help hone that skill that they have. So let's talk real world examples for a second. Up here on the screen, there's got to be at least one person that I hope each of you may have seen or recognizes as, you could almost say, a Professor Xavier in our world. We have Dr. Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs. Many of you, if you don't know this woman, you should get to know her. This is Humera Fasihudin, and she's our director, and she's pretty amazing. And she's one that has a why and is a leader that we're all willing to follow because of the belief that she has. I have a little clip I'd like to share with you, and for many of you may have seen this clip as well.